generation like Tate's generation, even that's completely different. And you could argue their generation versus a 19-year-old is completely different. And kids really use social media to interact now.
Yeah.
In ways that it's almost more important than actual interaction.
Yeah.
In some ways, which if you're a good parent, you're working on your kids so that you're taking their phone all the time and you're making sure that they develop people skills too. But I worry that there's a huge part of the generation that's coming that are only going to be able to interact through their phones, their devices, and computers. And then the social part of it, they're going to be going on dates and just kind of, what are they going to, you're on a date, you're just texting each other, sitting across from each other. Like, we might be headed that way. I'm concerned.
I mean, the crazy part is that we don't know, right? And what I think's really interesting, what you were just saying, is that there are also these, like, within the generations, there are these super micro generations.
Yeah.
Like,
it changes like every 3-4 years.
Snapchat doesn't really, I don't really go on it. Like, it's bad as a tech writer that I'm not really, like, plugged in necessarily. But it's just, like, it wasn't a thing when I, like, that any of me or really my close immediate friends adopted. But I have friends that are 18 months younger than me.
Yeah.
Like, you know, a year in college, 2 years in college difference. And it's like, for a while, it was like the most important thing in their world. And it's crazy.
How old are you?
I'm 30.
Tate, you care about Snapchat? 24?
No.
Your friends?
Yeah.
Never really trickled to the South.
Yeah, everyone's on it. Everyone's on it. Everyone's on it, but we just don't use it.
South is like, yeah,
don't get
they look
internet
down
down
on
there?
Snapchat.
Yeah, we're
Come
okay.
on. South's old school.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I don't. It already seems like Instagram over the last. I'm just judging this from everyone in my kid's school, and I live in California. Obviously, that's not the same experience as somebody who lives in Oklahoma or Montreal or Boston or whatever. But it seems like Instagram, once they shifted to stories, Instagram is now the dominant institution now for like 14 and under.
Interesting.
With the pictures. And then now there's this whole culture with how they all deal with each other with, like, you put a picture and it's 6 of the friends, but the 7th one wasn't there. Their feelings are hurt. It's all these games that it's like chess.
Yeah.
We were playing checkers when I was in high school, you know? It's like, oh, call her.
Well, the stakes are just higher, you know? Like, because it's so public, it's so visible.
But I wonder, like, does Instagram realize the power they have over kids now?
I think that all these companies in the back of their mind do, but I also think that they can't. Again, I probably shouldn't be speaking for them, but I think it's very hard you get paralyzed when you start thinking in that way.
Yeah.
Probably as, you know, as the leader of a company, as the guy making the product, you know, and at some point, and this is where we get into these problems, is it's like, well, we just got to put this thing out there, right? We've got to see how people are going to use it. We'll try to back it down, back it off.
Well, I think people make the mistake of assuming people in high positions are competent. And the reality is they're usually not. You might have a couple competent people, but you have a ton of people that were either promoted 3 spots too high or weren't competent to begin with. Mm-hmm. I was telling you before we started the podcast, like, I came from ESPN where from like 2000 to 2013 was arguably the most successful media company in the world. And inside the company, there were a lot of incompetent people. And it was always shocking to me. I was like, wow, I can't believe we're this successful with this person there and this person there and this person there. And everybody's 5 years behind whatever is actually going on. And you see this with sponsors. You even see this with podcast sponsors. Like, now all the right brands are like, wow, we got to get into podcasts. Mm-hmm. We got to, that's a great audience for us. And it's like, it was a great audience in 2012. You guys didn't see it yet.
Yeah.
And I worry, like, with Instagram, with Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, it's people that 5 years from now are going to be like, hey, we got a problem.
Well, so we're seeing that. First of all, yes, everyone's just acting on, this is like the on the fly more than ever before. Again, I don't have that much perspective, I guess, but it really feels like, I guess the stakes are higher, as we were saying, but people are totally acting on the fly with all this technology. But I think right now what we're in sort of a bit of this reckoning. Maybe not like fully as, like, you know, America but like certainly in the industry, there's like a big tech, quote unquote, reckoning. And it's the thing that I like. Facebook is saying, trying to change some of the metrics of how, they want to, it's like called time well spent. Twitter on last
Facebook
Thursday,
seems like they change their mind every 2 months.
They,
hey, here's our new plan.
All these companies love to do that because they're really good at PR and at press and making they're great at crafting.
Come
initiatives.
here, this is going to work.
Yeah. Twitter last Thursday announced that, they want to start figuring out a way to monitor the health of public conversations and do more to make conversation in public on Twitter healthy.
Oh, really? Thanks, Twitter.
Yeah,
it's 2018.
Yeah, exactly.
That would have been nice 8 years ago.
Yeah, well, it's like how they ran an ad last night at the Oscars that was like, women, we want to hear your voice. And meanwhile, any woman who's speaking on Twitter is being berated by neo-Nazis.
Would have been nice if they ran that after the Leslie Jones disaster, which was what, 2 years ago?
Almost 2 years
ago.
Whoa.
The thing with Twitter, the verified accounts, which in the old days was, I remember when my account got verified, I was like, great, this is like a badge of honor.
Mm-hmm.
I have a real account. Now it's like, you're seeing, you wrote about these verified accounts that are stealing Bitcoin money. It's like completely, it's almost like they need a second check for this account's really verified.
It's going to be like a general in the army with just a whole bunch of
medals.
I
want a 5-check account. Yeah. I'm an OG. Give me 5 checks.
I mean, there's a real problem, and these companies right now are, I think, trying to figure out how to message this idea of we're working on it. We realize that something's wrong online. We are probably somewhat the cause.
We're working on it as a start, at least.
Yeah, but at the same time, and I wrote about this the other day, these platforms, the reason why Twitter is toxic and, awful and abusive and chaotic, but also a really good vector for news and, part of these serendipitous moments and conversations and things like
that. And shared experience.
And shared experiences. It's because it's designed that way. That's what the system's supposed to do. It prioritizes scale, sensationalism. The whole metric of it is I'm going to say a thing and there's going to be no friction in you amplifying that message.
It's an unbelievable promotional tool too.
Exactly.
Self-promotion.
Yeah. I owe my career
shared
to
experience.
Guaranteed.
Yeah.
And
I saw it in 2009 with my book when and I had only gotten on Twitter the end of April in 2009 and did not have a ton of followers early, but I was like, wow, this is really going to help me, because I noticed that Amazon would have those things when it's like you crack the top 100 and your book's suddenly 50% off. And I would tweet about that. I was like, my book's 50% off. I didn't care if people got my book for half off. I just wanted people to read it. I think my book company probably cared, but I was like, go to Amazon right now. My book's 50% off. And hey, my book tour is coming up and I'm going to be here on September 28th and whatever the dates were. And the power of that platform, I was just like, wow, this changed the destiny of my book and all these things I wanted to do with it. And now we're almost 10 years later. The self-promotion part is still there, but all of these other dark, pieces of it have emerged.
And the good part of that is by design, and the bad part is by design. So when, that's with Facebook, that's with YouTube, that's with all these things. So when they say we're trying to have some sort of overhaul fix, it feels like the only possible way to do that is to strip the guts out of the system, to take away what makes Twitter Twitter.
Yeah.
I don't really know how you square, healthy, productive, good conversations with, the idea that anyone can post all this stuff and again, this idea of the flat internet where anything can be amplified. That.
There's one way to do it.
It's driver's license?
No,
You're all about verification today.
No. You make people pay for it and you get 10 tweets free a month. And after that, it's $4.99 a month. That's how you fix Twitter. If you really want to fix Twitter, make people pay to use it. And they could still get there. You could do 10 tweets a week. You could do 5 tweets a week. You could do 10 tweets a month, whatever limit you wanted to have. And then everything else, it's if you really want to go all in and tweet, pay us.
But then it's just...
You don't like that idea?
They'll just net... It will
I know they'll never do it,
happen.
but I think it would work.
I think the best idea that I've heard, and again, the verification system's kind of wonky right now, is that if you can prove who you are, like, send a driver's license, things
but we
like
just
that.
talked about deep faking.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is again, everything is like a terrible Gordian knot of complications. But if you can do it's not just journalists or celebrities or whoever, athletes who have the verified accounts, but just anyone who can prove who they are and authenticate that. And then you just have that as like the tier. And then the rest of the stuff is like, it's not really getting promoted very much.
It's in the minor leagues.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you have a minor league sort of thing. And that, to me, I mean, there's problems with that, right? But it's a good way to make it so that you don't have all the trolls screaming at you all the time.
Got to talk about Credible. Student loans can completely wipe you out if you don't get a handle on them. How do you do that? Credible.com. It's an online marketplace for student loan refinancing and using their simple platform. I have a great idea for a Twitter merger in a second. Not to sound like Mike Greenberg. Coming up, I'm going to tell you the merger that will save everything. Credible, it takes you less than 2 minutes to find out if you're overpaying on your student loans, and you could save thousands by refinancing. All you have to do is visit credible.com/BS. Answer a few quick questions right now. Right away, you'll get real rates, not ranges of rates, from multiple lenders, completely free to use. Checking your rates will not affect your credit score, so you really have nothing to lose. The average user who refinances through Credible.com saves almost $19,000 over the life of their loan. Think about what you can do with $19,000. For a limited time, our listeners will get a $200 welcome bonus when refinancing through Credible.com/BS. Pay off your student loans faster, lower your monthly payment, whatever works for you. Go to Credible.com/BS. If you ever thought about the craziest mergers that actually make sense? I just came up with this idea, and I think it's like one of my 5 best ideas of 2018 so far. Twitter merges with TSA.
TSA
has all these
two
verification
wonderfully
systems.
run companies.
But TSA has all the information. Twitter can throw them a little money to make TSA better, and they join forces. And now it's like, to join Twitter, I have to have a TSA card. Now this is gonna work. And they merge and they become Twitter TSA.
Twitter TSA.
Yeah, there we go.
So then the government owns them, right? The government owns Twitter.
Oh, that's not a good idea. All right, scratch that idea.
Kate,
I was fired up about that idea for like 2.5 minutes.
I liked it.
Twitter TSA?
Yeah, it was good at first, but then the government.
Do you have TSA?
Yeah. TSA pre-check, baby.
And now I have Clear. I have TSA and I have Clear. Twitter TSA Clear.
Well, Clear is a private company, right? So
yeah.
There's your merger.
Maybe that's who they should. Twitter and Clear. All right, Twitter Clear.
Twitter Clear. I mean, it sounds better than
Twitter Clear.
Yeah.
You can get another check by your name.
We did not hit Bitcoin, which I want to talk about really quickly.
Sure.
Bitcoin, which I was always a little suspicious of. It just seemed, anytime something's too good to be true, I don't know if it's the half Italian in me, but I just kind of take a sideways stare at it. And now it seems like Bitcoin's going to a dark place where people are just getting kidnapped and people are stealing their stuff, and it's not going in a good direction.
I'm going to argue.
Oh, you're going the other way. Okay.
The opposite. Like a lot of Bitcoin's baggage right now is its like dark web origins, like the Silk Road, like dark web marketplace where like people were buying drugs and, it's taking out hits on people.
So you're buying mainstream Bitcoin. You're buying stock in that.
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
You should just buy Bitcoin probably.
Yeah, that's true. I guess that would count as stock in Bitcoin. Actual Bitcoin.
But I mean, I think it's we talked about like that blockchain technology thing behind it. I think like that's interesting, right? I think that means that it's not, because there's so much promise behind like the technology that underwrites it. I think there's going to be staying power. Like that's not just going to go away. Like maybe the price will plummet or something, but like it means that there's something there. And that it's not like we're going to wake up tomorrow morning and there's just like, remember that experiment Bitcoin, it's over. Like, I don't know. I just find it really, really, really weird and interesting. And I just
because we've created a new currency from scratch.
Yeah. And the culture that's gone up around it. It's also, I mean, just from like all the gamblers I know in my life, like it's fun. You know, it's like it's prospecting. It's a real culture has grown up around it.